Should public money be spent on universal preschool? Those against public funding for universal preschool, like myself, often argue that we can just as easily teach preschoolers the stuff that they need to know at home. We see it almost every day. We see young children in stores, at the parks, and in our own home who can count, know their colors, notice numbers and letters, and some of the older 3- and 4-year-olds can even write their name. How hard is it to really teach these things? Diane Flynn Keith knows that preschoolers will learn language arts, math, history and social sciences, and science. The curriculum standards proposed require accountability as well. What are they going to do? Put a number 2 pencil in the chubby fist of a 4-year-old and ask him to stay inside the lines as he colors in bubble after bubble on a multiple choice test that he won't even be able to read? Will his failure to perform adequately on the preschool test result in a destination of special needs and banishment to remedial nursery school? When the student acts out due to the sheer boredom of learning the letter of the week and the insanity of not being able to indulge in his natural curiosity, engage in copious amounts of imaginative play, explore his environment and the bounty of life indoors and outdoors, with the people who love him the most, ask millions of questions to get information about how the world works, and be allowed to develop at his own pace in his own time? Will he be drugged into passive compliance and obedience so he'll sit quietly at his desk, hands folded and feet flat on the floor, trying to steal a glimpse of the outside world under the teacher's harsh glare? I'm sorry, but that's a toxic prescription for preschoolers. What about the days before preschool? Children were able to farm, sew, cook, and do other household chores at a very young age. They were intelligent children who often learned to read and write in their own spare time. 50 years ago, most parents felt as though their children learned just fine from them until they entered the 1st grade. With the mass preschool hysteria that we have been reading about in the past few years, however, parents feel unqualified to take care of their own young children. My sister and I were both children who never attended any form of preschool. Now look at us. We are both college students who will be the first in our family to graduate. Although we had much different grades growing up in K through 12, we are both intelligent human beings who can function on our own and know what we are talking about. This is because our mother taught us well. The basics weren't taught to us in school, just enhanced. We already knew how to spell our names, knew colors and numbers, and many of the alphabet before we even started kindergarten. Another advantage of teaching children at home is that they talk to adults and children with ease. They do not have to compete with 10 or 12 other children for the attention of their teacher. Instead of being socialized mainly by their peers, their parents are able to teach them manners and social skills at and in between meals. Okay, I get it. What if you're a single parent that works all day? What are you supposed to do then? My solution: if you can leave them with a reliable friend or family member or anyone who you trust will teach them while you're gone, do it. When Barack Obama was running for president, he said that he believes in universal preschool, and if he's elected president, he'll pump billions of dollars into early childhood education. Years later, we can see this is not true. In the last half-century, U.S. preschool attendance has gone up nearly 70% from 16%. But 4th grade reading, science, and math scores on the National Assessment of Educational Progress, NAEP, the nation's report card, have remained virtually the same since the early 1970s. In 2006, analysis by Education Week found that Oklahoma and Georgia were among the 10 states that had made the least progress on NAEP. Oklahoma, in fact, lost ground after it embraced universal preschool. In 1992, its 4th and 8th graders tested on point above the national average in math. Now they're several points below. Ditto for reading. Georgia's universal preschool program has made virtually no difference to its 4th grade reading scores. In a study of Tennessee's preschool program released just this week by the Ansperton Strategic Research Group, found no statistical difference in the performance of preschool versus non-preschool kids on any subject after the 1st grade. What about Head Start programs, the 40-year-old federal preschool program for low-income kids? Studies by the Department of Health and Human Services have repeatedly found that although Head Start kids post initial gains on IQ and other cognitive measures, in later years they become indistinguishable from non-Head Start kids. Here are a few questions for you to think about. After watching this video on universal preschool, what is your opinion and why? Can universal preschool solve all of our problems? Why or why not? What about the parents that cannot afford universal preschool? What are they supposed to do with their children?